Boys notice help is urgently needed on the train tracks. If train tracks run through your city, you've learned at a young age it's best to avoid hanging around them. Nothing good happens when you flirt with the dangers of third rails, massive spikes, and of course, passing locomotives. Unfortunately, not everyone gets the message. When two brothers were walking along some Rhode Island train tracks in 2014, they saw someone, or rather, something, hadn't been able to cross over the tracks so smoothly. They were left with two options: step in and help, or let disaster run her course. Jacob Vincent and his brother Max were out for a walk along the train tracks near their home in Lincoln, Rhode Island. A running creek not far away added a pleasant rushing sound to the serene, sunny day. Then Jacob saw something unusual. It wasn't a train barreling down the tracks cutting through the small town of just over 20,000 people. I spotted a dark object lodged into the opening of the tracks, Jacob recalled. On closer inspection, he recoiled. That dark object was an animal, a tortoise to be exact. How long she'd been jammed into the tracks, Jacob could only guess. But evidence indicated the tortoise was suffering. It must have been hot in the sun against metal rails. In fact, Jacob noticed the tortoise was dehydrated too, an indication that she'd been stuck for quite some time. The brothers had a decision to make. Would they help this tortoise, or let nature do its often cruel work? For Jacob, it was an easy choice. I quickly ran down to the stream to fill up my water bottle, he said, to pour onto the dry turtle to help her regain the hydration and energy she had clearly lost. But it would take more than that to dislodge her. The brothers went to work trying to unstuck the tortoise, but she proved really stuck. No matter how hard they pulled, the brothers couldn't move her. This wouldn't be a quick problem to fix. That's when Jacob started getting nervous about the train. He pulled out his phone and looked up the schedules of trains using the tracks. Sure enough, the research confirmed his worst fears. A train would be passing by in a little less than an hour. They now had a time limit to save this tortoise. Still, the boys were tapped out on solutions. They didn't have the power and strength for the job, and they knew they wouldn't get it in an hour. So once again, Jacob turned to his phone. This time, he called animal control. Time passed and the train rolled closer. The brothers knew they would hear its whistle within minutes. Maybe even see the front of it peeking through the trees. But all they could do was wait for animal control. But before they heard the train or felt its vibrations along the tracks, animal control arrived. The crew, Jacob noted, shared the same compassion for animals that my brother and I share. They wanted to save this tortoise. But at first, animal control approached the stuck tortoise with the same strategy the two brothers used. The crew tried pulling it out, but the turtle still would not budge. And worse, now the poor girl was terrified. Still jammed in the tracks, the tortoise started wriggling her arms and legs about, so Jacob proposed another strategy. Why not use something in the area as a tool of sorts? Could something create just a sliver of space between the tortoise and the rail? I decided to push a nearby piece of wood under her belly to help her slide out, Jacob said. While the idea might have seemed crazy enough to work at the time, it was not without shortcomings. For 5 minutes, Jacob, his brother, and animal control worked at freeing the tortoise. But even with the wood beneath her, she still wouldn't budge. Soon, 10 minutes passed, then 15. All the while, the train barreled closer and closer until... After 20 minutes struggling with the stuck tortoise, Jacob and the gang finally pried her loose. Hooray! Sunshine, daisies, and trapped tortoise freed from the train tracks. Everyone celebrated, perhaps no one harder than the tortoise. The only thing that would have made the moment more exciting for the brothers was if the train had sped by just seconds after they freed the turtle. But hey, they were probably happy with how it all turned out. Still, there was work to do. While the train wouldn't be running over any tortoises that day, the heroes of the day needed to return the tortoise to her home. And she couldn't catch a ride home on the passing Amtrak. Vincent had a simple solution, though. My brother Max picked up the snapper with no hesitation, he said. and brought her down to the creek so she can run free and pursue her ongoing life as the prehistoric monument that she is. Indeed, the brothers gave this tortoise a chance, something not all tortoises get when crossing the tracks. So many were hit in Japan, for instance, workers installed turtle tunnels underneath their tracks for easy passing. Thanks to these two animal-loving brothers, this tortoise is back on the right side of the tracks, safely where she belongs. And as amazing as saving one tortoise's life is, their rescue inspired others to keep a closer eye on their local railroads.